Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues here on Kauai, largest ocean in the world. This little island called Kauai. We're in Kapahi in the hills of Kapa, and I have a guest with me today. The prayer today will be with our pan drum. So center yourself, breathe in deep, and welcome to Wayne Kealohi and Wisdom Dialogue. Mystic wisdom, that is. Just take a couple of deep breaths and let the drum carry you home. As we all align to bring ourselves home, we are already home. Moving the layers that deny this fact. Home being a place beyond this physical dimension, and yet inside of it. Allow the joy to come in from that harmonization of all your centers. Breathe it in from above and below, from the father and the mother into the child, of which we are here on earth, as we are in heaven. Well, today is Pono Day. We're concluding our seven principle excursion through esoteric Huna, Hawaiian shamanism. Thank you, dear. A lot to share today. It's so much to share. I don't know how to fit it all in, but nevertheless, we will do our best. What is Pono? Well, if you look it up in the Hawaiian dictionary, you're going to find probably about 30 or 40 meanings. The first one being goodness or righteous. And in this book, I've been sharing with you throughout the podcast series, Hawaiian Shamanistic Healing. We have the esoteric principles on page 55 in the spiritual chapter. Pono, goodness, effectiveness is the measure of truth. So this, of course, would imply flexibility with how things should be done in order to create the result that you're looking for. In the feminine aspect, through the Mihealani O'Henry system, Pono is aloha uhane. Aloha uhane. I greet with love the greatness of my spirit. As you know, we've been doing the Kahili system with the Mihealani system to give us a masculine and feminine point of view. And now the Rainbow system, Pono. I greet with love the greatness of my spirit. The goodness of our spirit can flow when we walk in a righteous path. Let's let that in. Take a deep breath for a minute, and you don't have to even understand what it means, but you can root it. Plant a seed. It's the fall. It's a good time to plant seeds that will come up in the spring. The goodness of our spirit can flow when we walk a righteous path. And the key to Pono, effectiveness emerges through flexibility. Aspire to be in right relationship with yourself, with the world, and within all your relations. Easier said than done, eh? But once again, we're always emphasizing who we are as opposed to who we think we are. So the word ho'oponopono, we have two ponos. For example, in lomi lomi, we have two lomis. And what that looks like lomi is to knead and to squeeze. And when you have lomi lomi, there's a wave of that moving into actuality, which becomes more of a verb of a kahuna transmission. It's the same with Pono. Pono, goodness, path of righteousness. And when you put Pono Pono together, you have the idea that we are lifting ourselves up into recognizing correct and right divine order in what is. And what would be in the way of that? Yeah, that is the challenge, isn't it? Excuse me, a lot of spirit trying to come through here. I remember when I was doing a lecture with Abraham Kauai, and I was filming him in Los Angeles, and he kept clearing his throat. And I thought for sure he needed a glass of water. So I went around to the back of the stage and offered him a glass of water, and he looked at me and he looked back to the camera and he goes, "No, it's just my ancestors trying to come through." So I guess we'll call it that. Nevertheless, we can see Pono in reflection in nature, primarily everywhere. It's like the natural course of how things are grown and how things die. I mean, everything in this dimension has a beginning and an end and a middle. And the beginning of an end, we seem to have a lot of influence over. And let's talk about the middle for a bit here, this incarnation piece of us. Because we all have this idea that we would like to do good. We all have this idea that, all is encompassing us with goodness. And how do we ripple that forward in our lives? Well, there seems to be a lot in the way of this, and it's subconscious and it has gravity and it really pulls on us from time to time. I know it does for me. I feel so strongly how sometimes, like yesterday, I woke up and there was this whole cloud over my joyful energy, and it was a heavy cloud. And even thoughts of like, wow, what, I could take my life right now and nothing would change. And I'm sure that we all have these thoughts from time to time, and we know better than to give them any credence, any power over us, because we're quite aware of how clouds come and go and the sun remains. And that's really what's going on in us as well. So I was with that fear. I was with all the thoughts the ego was presenting to me about, the inconsistencies of my life in preparation for, moving on from this dimension, and what I'm leaving behind, and how will I provide for myself until that day occurs, and why am I making the choices that I'm making? Am I really listening to my higher self? Or am I just projecting something that is not real? Good question to ask. And so let's go back to Pono, and what does Pono look like in that? In the balance of harmonizing those feelings that we don't really want, but we can't push them away because they'll push back. So, as a witness to those feelings as they come up, and with the practice of what to do with fear, this too shall pass. And how does that happen? It happens by relaxing into the fear and breathing yourself as a parental sort of energy, makua, from the mother to the child that's feeling the fear, and from the father to the mother and the child that is also afraid of the dark, that is afraid of mortality, afraid of getting old, afraid of not completing one's task in this lifetime, afraid of perhaps not having the relationship you want with your significant other, with your children, with a child, with your parent. So we turn inwards to find how that actually works. Because through the spirit channel, we have access to all. And that includes everyone, not just nature. And so how I've been able to harmonize that with my sons, who are quite often not even in harmony with each other or their mother or whatever, It's just the human condition, right? There's nothing wrong with this. It's just the way it is. But how to create Pono in that for myself? That's my responsibility. That's my kuleana, is to create Pono in myself, because that's what I will ripple out into the world, into their world, through the spirit channel. So I find a place inside that is at peace with all relations. And this is a place that is so clear and so vibrant and so clean that we wonder why we don't spend more time here. We're so busy creating what? Right? What are we creating from moment to moment? What are we thinking? And what are we presenting as ourselves in the current moment? For everyone to feel beyond the words we're using, the actions we're displaying, the behaviors that are judged. Yeah. Like, for instance, this podcast. My office manager, she, Hope, God bless her, she hit a pretty strong life challenge a couple of weeks ago and dropped the ball, assisting me in all of the work that we're doing. And, for a while, I was able to cruise. And we had we had one actually talk about how to manage this for her. And she recognized me as her angel in the moment, because there was no idea about any work we're doing other than how do we bring Pono to this shadow that has overcome her life stream. And so we came to peace with that, and then the call ended. And now I'm seeing so many things that are dropping off in my business because she's not in the chair. And instead of having resistance to that, I go inside and I say, what? What's next? What's going on here? And the voice is so clear, just let go. You have no control. And that's what the ego wants, always, this control. To be comfortable, to have things always maintain the status quo, to be popular, to be liked, to keep things rolling, right? Yeah, well, as you know, and I've expressed in my life how it's changing right now, it's time to let go, and it's fall. And they don't call it fall for nothing. A lot of things will be falling away besides leaves. So look in your life and see what time it is for things to fall away, and what would really benefit you and all of humanity and all the people you relate to have certain things in your life fall away. So I've come to peace with being myself and my content creator. We were a trio before, and now we're a duo. And it looks like it's going to be a single pretty soon here, given all the other parameters of my live stream here. So, where are we putting our energy? And what energy are we putting to it, right? Time to take into accounting. What requires more Pono in our life? More ho'o, Pono Pono. Ho'o, to call in, to invoke. Pono Pono, to actualize what is righteous, give it new birth, new life, new breath. Yeah. So I want to welcome everybody here. Samuel, Penelope, Laura, John, and all those on YouTube. Thank you for showing up. Because it would be so easy for me. I've had the thought many times to stop doing these podcasts. Yeah, because of all the things that seem to be sort of pressing into my life that need attention, more attention. Yeah. And, but the Holy Spirit won't let that happen. She keeps reminding me that this is the breath that I take every Sunday with you guys to remember who we are and why we're here. And that's what I want to talk to you about. Your personal mission. That's right. We all incarnate with a personal mission. The way it is the same is through self-realization. That's a given across the board. And what does that look like? It looks like joy. Yeah. How much joy are we allowing into all of our circumstances as an observer of our humanness? Yeah. Okay. So, seriously, folks, what is the same about our mission in life is the realization of how much we are loved. Not as a concept, could start there, but as a feeling, as an emotional feeling, how much we are loved by Creator, creation, by all those who we're not even in contact with, who are thinking of us in wonderful ways. Why? Because perhaps we helped them at some point. Perhaps we reflected the love that they are. Whatever. But instead, what the ego draws attention to is what people are thinking that is not so nice about us, which is very common in family dynamics. Yeah. And in that regard, we use other people to beat ourselves up with those thoughts that we weren't good enough, that we didn't say the right thing, that we didn't do the right thing. And whatever it was, it's in the past. And what is that? It doesn't even exist. But the ego is really busy keeping that alive to make sure that we don't bring ourselves home, that we stay anchored in guilt and shame for the rest of our mortal life. And at what point does the drama become a comedy? When you realize what the personality you made is actually conjuring up and doing to you on a daily basis. Like when you feel there's not enough in your life, and that's a genuine feeling. Not enough love, not enough money, not enough food, not enough shelter, not enough whatever it is. Right? Yeah, it's a very human feeling. We all share that. And yet we know intellectually it's not true. But that's not enough. I think practicing who we are as a being, practicing whatever form that may take. Discipline doesn't have to be a rigid, kind of agenda. We have to do this certain thing every day. No. Pono is about flexibility. So when you have a meeting with your higher self and you figure out what is best for you to do each day to remind yourself of how loved you are, even when you don't feel it. It can be something different every day. I'm amazed at how a lot of people, conscious and unconscious, use athletics, use running and biking, yoga, stretching, block therapy. I mean, there are so many ways to open the physical vessel so that you can breathe more of that feeling of life into you. Yeah. I mean, I had a great realization just this week. I'm seeing a PT and an osteopath for an injury, a surgery from last summer. And it's so interesting watching my ego, how it's sort of like, oh no, you don't have time for those exercises. You have other things that are more important, right? Well, after 3 visits with each of these doctors, something happened, and I woke up in that dream of not having time, realizing, I only have so many summers here on this planet remaining. And if I don't pull this all together now, I never will. So I started doing every day the exercises that I was given. After 2 days, I can't believe how much more mana is flowing through my body. So you can turn away from those programs that your personality, your ego is trying to limit you to. Because a lot of them are rooted in insufficiency. Oh, no, you can't do that. You don't have enough time. Oh, you can't do that because you got to be out making money. Oh, you can't do that because. Flip the drum into a calm and say no, thank you. And this is where our will comes in, right? Our will, the right use of will, is the most powerful tool we have next to our imagination. Let's breathe that in. Breathe in goodwill for yourself. It's already inside. Your breath is going to illuminate it even more. And let's reclaim our original innocence. Now, in my recent studies, I've realized why this title was used, because I'm always listening to Spirit for guidance. This is the 3rd subtitle in that regard. It was at one point The Way of Ho'oponopono. I can't remember the other one. But I was given, when I was in a hot tub in England teaching last spring, that isn't wide enough for people. They can't even pronounce the word. So let's make it The Way Home. Let's put the thumb on it. Okay, well, I realized recently that this title could be easily mistaken for our innocence being gone, reclaiming, right? That maybe it's not there, that someone took it and we have to reclaim it. All ego projections. Let's be very, very clear that we are reclaiming our innocence from our programming, from our egoic personality that is constantly telling us we're not worthy. We're not worthy to be happy. We're not worthy to have the partner we want. We're not worthy to do the art form we want because perhaps it's not going to support our financial life. There's so many things that we want to draw back our will, our power from. And that's what this title is for. Because our original innocence abides always radiant, always within us. at all times through infinity. That's who we are. And in that original innocence, there is no past and there's no future. There's a flexibility of a child here to play in life's circumstances and figure out how to make things a bit more Pono. Because we have inherited a lot of programs from our lineage, from our life stream, all those that came before, where those programs are not really working, and we're here to evolve them. This is part of our mission. In reclaiming our original innocence, our mission to overcome the programming happens like that. It's a mindset. It's a heart set. It's a coherence between the heart and the mind that is connected to absolute, that ripples the divine love that comes into this dimension into all in our orbit. Come unity. Now, suppose you don't feel like going out and sharing this with people. That's okay. Just remember that whatever your choice is, it's okay, because there's always a lesson in it. And that's the way we're loved. We're given enough energy to choose anything we want to do here in this mortal existence, and it will not be judged. The ego is really quick to, to validate moral principles and what is right and what is wrong. That's not happening from a divine perspective at all. This is why, it makes good news when, someone in power has gone outside their marriage or something. We love the drama as a human species. 98 years in a row, a drama has won Best Picture from the Academy of Sciences. There's not even a category for comedy. That's how strongly the ego is involved here on this planet. So, oh my gosh. How to use our will. How to vibrate in a way that we are rippling into the world what is real, what is permanent, what is true. Something that will live on through infinity. Yeah, it's wow, in this mortal existence. Yeah, it's so easy to be depressed about getting old. But the soul knows there's no such thing. But does that help when you look in the mirror? Eventually it will. Yeah. I mean, come on. You see on social media those wrinkled apple doll faces of the ancient ones from old cultures, and we admire them, right? And then go look in the mirror. That's not what we see. Why? Because we think we're separate from that. We think they're beautiful and it doesn't wear on us. Not true. It's all about what's behind the feeling, and that's what we admire in them, is that they are at peace with their life stream and where they are. And that reflection for us is quite lovely. Let's breathe that in. What you see in the mirror is not real. What you see behind the mirror, now that's another story. What is unseen, what does not come through the senses, is what's real and permanent. And once again, we know this intellectually. But how do we bring it into our life stream? Love one another as yourself. Love one another as yourself. Isn't that interesting? The golden rule. It's been with us in every culture all the time. And it's something we just really don't quite know how to function fully yet. It takes practice. It takes practice. The practice of loving ourselves the way God loves us. You know, there's a great passage in A Course in Miracles, chapter 2, where Yeshua ben Joseph, otherwise known as Jesus, is going over John 3:16. For God for loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, for whosoever believeth in him shall not perish, shall have everlasting life. Jesus brings that back to us. And he said, you know, this was absolutely misinterpreted. And he rewords it to be, for God so loved the world, he gave his Son the world as the only begotten Son. I'm not paraphrasing it exactly correctly. Let me see. For God so loved the world. To the world, he gave his Son. Nope, that's not it either. He gave the world to his Son is the exact meaning of the rephrasing here. Thank you. And let's find that. Thank you, dear. Wow, this book just landed in my hands, marked on the page. Okay. Have you really considered how many opportunities you have to gladden yourself, and how many of them you have refused? There is no limit to the power of the Son of God. Now, when he speaks of the Son of God, he speaks of the sonship, which is all of us as the one Son, united as the offspring of the one, as the one. But he himself can limit the expression of the power as much as he wills. Your mind and mine can unite in shining your ego away and releasing the strength and beauty of God into everything you think and will and do. Do not settle for anything less than this, and refuse to accept anything but this as your goal. Watch your mind carefully for any beliefs that hinder its accomplishment, and step away from them. Yeah. Bear with me for a sec. Oh, yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. I should have had this marked sooner. My apologies.
And just breathe into what is it that is with you, taking in the meaning that you've received.
I'll find it for them next week. Thank you. It was never about the crucifixion, was the point, which is the way it was taken. Logically so. Nothing wrong with that. This came into a time when humanity was extremely, not focused on, or at the level where they could understand what Yeshua was sharing with us. So it was, God so loved the world that he gave the world to his son. And that would include all of us. Now think about that for a minute, because that's the actual meaning of John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave the world to the sonship of us, so that as we believe in that, we have everlasting life. And there's the balance. There's the Pono coming into our mortality. Yeah. Wow. Hmm. There's a great picture by Glenda Green of Yeshua holding the world over his heart and just praying over it. And this validates what Jesus is saying in A Course in Miracles. All right, so there is the transmission for today. Find your mission. Locate that part of you that is willing to ripple God's love through you into the world. And let it shine. Let your love shine. If you have any questions or additions, please type them into the chat. I'll be watching that. And do you want to come? I have a guest here. She may have some nice input that we can guide. Thank you for showing up, lady. Yeah. Can't quite twist that. It's way over there. Hmm?
You want me to be seen or off camera?
Well, it's up to you. You can turn this. You just, yeah.
I was focused on this.
By the way, this is Shakira, a friend I've had for 40 years, and she's showing up again in my life.
I really appreciated when you spoke of the harmonizing and a bit about morality as the aspect of righteousness that often gets equated to Pono. As you said, there are like 30 definitions in the Hawaiian dictionary. And righteousness is an easy one to land on. And yet, the foundation of righteousness has this aspect of morality, like a judgment of good and bad. And so for me, I think there was a bit of a relief that you brought it in, and I want to accentuate that the life energy of Pono is like this inner relational harmonizing with community of face to face with the world and with oneself. And that level of judgment, like a mental applied idea of what's good and bad, is for me disconnects me actually.
Of course.
From this natural streaming of where is my heart open, where is my energy center open. So I appreciate that you brought that in, and just for the listeners and just
Mm-hmm.
for myself to say it.
Sure.
That aspect is really valuable to explore.
It's very difficult to come off of the programming. It's so strong. That's why I refer to it quite often as gravity. You know, you can't fight gravity. It's in this dimension, it is real, even though it's quite temporary, which makes it unreal. But nevertheless, the programming has that strength apparently over us, apparently over us, where that judgment of good and bad is constantly applied to everyone in our lives, especially us, to make sure that we don't come away from guilt and shame, because that's the ego's. That's its whole game. It's to keep us in guilt and shame.
I would say that's one aspect of its whole game.
Yeah.
And so the beauty becomes how to disengage from that
Sure.
conditioning and the oppression of living through that
Sure.
system.
Yeah.
And that's your mysticism
Yeah. Yeah.
steps beyond that.
Yes. Absolutely. Because we're constantly reflecting what is real in other dimensions that lives here in everything. And
And when you say other
yeah,
dimensions,
yeah.
you want to just clarify that?
Well, the one spirit is in everything and it doesn't judge. It has no judgment capacity whatsoever.
So just bringing in a playful way,
Yeah.
the yes, how true it is. And now I'm saying that again with more sobriety,
Yeah.
because what is evident
Sure.
deserves and requires, as we interact in life, our participation.
Yeah.
I feel that. And yet there's something that's inward that if we change to the innocence, and I'd love to have you just define innocence in your words.
Sure.
For me, there's an aspect of this completely open, awake connection with what's right here that has some quality of awe, like, and wonder. Like,
Yeah.
and in that,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a sense of freedom
Yeah.
and being fed by that
Sure.
is, a release point of even saying this world, this construct, this conditioning is what's real. It's only what that viewpoint is.
Sure. There's not much to add to that. That's pretty clear. And the journey becomes to anchor or stabilize that activation or realization in every moment. Because
and then knowing that that is maybe an attainable, quote, goal or objective,
beingness,
and maybe
because it
maybe like the breath, that's a return.
Yeah, that's it. Because we already are that. It's really doesn't have to be a goal or an attainment because we already are it. And that's the hardest thing to receive. That it's just a matter of letting go of what we're not to be what we are, which is truly, absolutely innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. And I also love the humanness of yes and. I I really love that paradox of
Well,
of
yeah,
of such a full yes
yes.
and the I won't even say the opposite, just
Yeah, it doesn't
the
have an
other
opposite. Yeah.
faceted reality
Mm.
is also real. And now
Is it?
where do I choose to focus?
Is it real?
It's real to the extent that I believe in it and that I live through it.
Who's the I?
Great question. We could pause on that, but I have more of a ah, great question than a
I would say,
formulaic answer.
I would reflect to you that the I is what's real. What comes after is an appearance for our learning to become a happy learner here in this dimension.
Um,
Yeah.
that's kind of great. Okay, fine, wonderful. I got very interested in the practical of.
Yeah.
You brought up some things
Yeah.
early on about being with the feelings that you're having and
Sure.
somehow just including the fullness
Yeah.
of our experience.
Sure. And
It's
that's
even more vivid as being relevant. I have this image in front of me that your eyes have turned to through the podcast. This spirit consciousness.
yeah.
I'm wondering if you have any questions that have come through or any comments.
Not yet. If there's some on YouTube, we're losing our audience though. Let's see, because we've run over time almost. Anyway, wow.
Well, thank you so much for
continued.
inviting me in to be a guest, floating back into dynamic dialogue and witnessing your stream of consciousness.
It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Take it away. I'm backing up.
Well, guys, what a great surprise. Let's hear it for Shakira. Yay. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It's such a delight to have feminine input. And so next week, time change. Most of the world is rolling back the clock 1 hour. Not us. We don't do that here in Hawaii. So, John, you in United Kingdom, it'll be an hour earlier for everyone in Europe and everyone.
It's already happened, Blaine.
It's already happened for you?
This is 8 o'clock. We started at 8 o'clock in England.
Oh, okay. For us, it happened.
Yeah, last night.
I see. No wonder you asked me last week.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So my message that just went out over email was primarily for the United States or North America. Because we're doing it next Sunday or Saturday night. All right. Well, thanks for letting us know, John. And yeah, it's so good to have you show up, and you as well, Penelope. Okay, so let's. We usually have a meditation, but I think that sharing was a great meditation, actually. You need to ask yourself, or you want, or perhaps you'll contemplate what is righteous, what is Pono for you. Could you turn that a little bit this way? A little bit more. A little more, a little more, a little more. Right there. Thanks. So what is righteous for you? What is your mission and what is bringing Pono? What does that look like for you in your life? What relationships can you harmonize this week within yourself and within your immediate family dynamic? Maybe you live alone. Maybe you live with plants and animals. Harmonize. Maybe you live in a huge family where there's lots of going on. Harmonize. How can you show up not having to be right, not having to judge someone or something, and just love it? Because love is the only power that affects everything consistently, always. Even if it goes unnoticed. Even if you're doing it from your own meditation pillow or wherever you sit to bring yourself home. Gandhi said, one person that is in a positive, miracle-minded mind frame will affect thousands who are not. And that's our mission. Bring Pono here and ripple it into the world. You'll be glad you did, and everyone that you'll never meet, they'll be glad you did as well. Makua mai ka waiola ho ikea mai ikeola. Mama ua noa lele vale akuala. So we lift this prayer into beingness and allow it to be. And so it is. Ke pau. Ahui ho, till we meet again. Malama pono. Take the best care of yourself. Thank you, Shakira, for showing up. Appreciate you.